a bit nervous, to be honest. Don't know how it's going to go. They're in piss poor form, to be honest, but so are we. So I don't know. I don't want it to turn nasty, but you don't know how these things are going to go, and hopefully, hope for 3 points. Let's be positive.
What are you hoping to see from Wagner's team selection today?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it seems as though it's the way that we're playing rather than the actual players. It seems as though, you know, a lot of the defensive players, they're actually not in bad form, but I feel that lack of a defensive midfielder is just not giving them enough protection. So I hate to say same again, because we've not really got the quality, you know, on the bench or in the reserves to actually bring anybody in.
Do you think Wagner's the man to take Norwich forward?
Oh, that's a horrible question. I would say I'm willing to give him a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. We're in a bit of a state of flux at the minute with the ownership and everything like that, but you know,
he's been dealt a bit of a tough hand in terms of the injuries.
Yeah, I think we keep going with him until this period of transition's over and we go again from there.
Can I get a score prediction for today? Sorry, mate.
I can see us. I feel as though maybe it's going to be a 2-1 to Sunderland or a 2-2 if I'm being positive.
Norwich is very anxious. You never know what you're going to get with them, do you, really?
Yeah. What have you made of the start of the season so far?
Well, we started alright, didn't we? It was 4-0, things like that. But Johnny Rowe playing well. It's been, not as good recently. We lost a few good players, and it's a shame, struggling for goals, and we just need to try and turn it around, really.
Yeah, what do you make of Wagner? Do you sort of blame him for the form going downhill, or do you think he's been dealt a tough hand with injuries?
Injuries haven't helped, but I think, look at last season as well, the way last season drifted, and it's like 24 games now, I think, where we've won 6 matches. It's half a season. And in most people's eyes, that's not promotion challenging form. So I think next couple of games are really important for him. I think he ends up losing the next couple of games and losing badly. Fans turned the last few games, and fans will turn again, and I think he might be on borrowed time. International break coming up, it might be a good time to make a change if things don't change in the next 2 or 3 matches. Fingers crossed to do.
Can I get some score predictions for today's game?
I'd like to be positive, so I'll say 1-0 Norwich.
2-1.
Always pessimistic. I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Probably a bit nonplussed, really.
What have you made of the start to the season from Norwich so far?
Well, obviously we started off really well, didn't we? But we've just lost our way at the moment. And, don't quite know what the answer is unless we can just perhaps change the formation a little bit. I think is probably the way to go.
Is that what you're hoping to see from Wagner in terms of his sort of team selection today? A change in formation?
Probably not. No, I think. I mean,
I don't think he's got lots of options.
when his way works out right, it's superb to watch. But we've probably had 2 45-minute spells this season where that's been brilliant. And they've just got to be absolutely spot on with the passing for it to work. And like Tuesday night, we were a long way off with our passing work.
Do you think the main responsibility is with him then, or do you think he's been dealt a tough hand?
The main responsibility is with him, but as with when Fark was here, you know, I mean, they just don't seem to get any luck with the injuries, and that's played a key part. I think with the way he plays, that's really important to have players that he needs in that first team, and he hasn't got it at the moment.
So do you think he's the man to take Norwich forward then, or no?
I don't think so, really. Now it's a difficult one. But we've got to get some consistency, and we've got to see the good play that he's presented on occasions for 90 minutes.
And can I get some score predictions?
See it happen.
Sorry, can I get some score predictions for today?
I think we'll win 2-1.
I've done 5-2.
You think 5-2?
Well, it's extremely poor. I thought that we're lacking in defence, especially in the centre of defence. Don't really have a number 8 or any defensive midfield to drop back, and the biggest issue is that we're missing Josh Sargent, anybody who can create any forward chance or convert chances going forward. That seems our biggest issue. Is we're actually getting into some good areas, but we are scoring goals to some extent, but we're then just being punished by this inability to score going forwards.
Were you convinced at all when they went 1-0 up, or did you think that was against the run of play?
I think at the time it was a relatively even game. I think it was afterward, and how, with the game state being 1-0, how we then capitalised on that, I thought was poor. And I think it's the same with Leeds and same with Middlesbrough, but especially Leeds, our game management has been really poor, especially after going ahead, especially away from home. The amount of goals which we're actually scoring away, and then we're just coming away with no points. That seems to be the main issue for me.
Is there a worry for you now about the way the momentum's going? Are you struggling to see where Norwich are going to turn it around?
I am. I didn't think we would necessarily be challenging for promotion this year, but I think where we are at the table now is really poor.
Yeah.
And I think momentum-wise, you can't really deny it. That's the big issue for me.
Yeah. And were there any performances that you thought especially let down Norwich today, or were, well, I was going to say were good, but it's difficult really?
I think Sarah was one of the better players today. I think Long is, been kind of caught in a rock and a hard place. I think the way he's performed in the last few games has been admirable, given the circumstances he's in and the fact he wasn't necessarily expected to play, certainly not as much as he is currently. I think it's unfair to blame one player. I think as a squad they have to look at the performance and the general quality, which is there, I think, is enough to be performing better, and I think it's just a matter of cohesion, as I say, game management.
And what about David Wagner? Do you think a lot of the responsibility is with him, or has he been dealt a tough hand with the injuries and stuff?
I think you have to say it's a tough hand with his injuries, but actually, the level of squad, the squad that we've got, and the
7 years I was
and the ability which he has is, you have to blame to some extent, but actually, it's the squad he's built, and he's had a lot of time, and that's all he can say about it.
So is he the man to take the club forward then?
I'd like to think so, because obviously if we are going forward, then when he does stay, that means we're doing well. But
no other words for
mismanaged. He needs to go now.
Think it's time for Wagner to go?
Oh, 100%.
I think so now. We're going behind in games. There doesn't look to be a game plan when we're behind.
No, heads just drop, game over as soon as they score one goal.
Yeah, is there any sort of mitigation in terms of the injury situation, or?
He's still got a squad that should be beaten.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
He's got injuries, but he's got a squad there. He's got depth.
Yeah.
Well, at least Wang and Fisher look good. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm taking that really.
Was there any? Were you convinced at all when they were 1-0 up, or did you think it was coming?
Really. To be honest, even when we were 1-0 up, we weren't the better team. But there was a period in the second half, 5 minutes, where we were getting back into the game. That's when Duffy made a mistake, and 3-1. Not come back from that.
You mentioned Hwang and Fisher. Do you think they should be in the team the next time?
Yeah. Well, Hwang looked the best player on the pitch.
100%.
And do you worry now in terms of the momentum? I think for me personally, I struggle to see how they're going to turn around. Are you the same?
Well, new manager bounce.
I think so. That's the problem. There's problems up the higher in the club as well with the ownership and everything. Works its way down, doesn't it? There's no belief in the manager.